Guys, it's getting worse.
I'm asking
No. You don't ask me nothing.
$2.25 million.
Get out.
Are we the only community that does fraud?
How come they said this building was closed? Do you guys know where advanced mobility is?
Advanced mobility?
Yeah, we're looking for it. Never heard of it?
They know we're shining the light on the fraud, and they have no defense.
Would you like to see anybody in the government here held accountable?
Most definitely, because there can definitely be an allocation of funds.
The Minnesota fraud scandal continues to get worse and worse as billions of dollars of fraud has been exposed, and as I showed the world the blatant fraud taking place at daycares and other locations across Minnesota, it became the most viewed video expose on the internet and created instant change within the government as the Fed sent thousands of federal agents to Minnesota, and the HHS froze over $185 million in all payments to childcare. And while politicians like Tim Walz call people like me white supremacists and far-right delusional conspiracy
I'm not a white supremacist.
theorist for exposing the fraud, meanwhile, he actually dropped out of running for re-election. The Minnesota fraud scandal has erupted the nation as protests and riots took place, all starting because daycares like Quality Learning Center were exposed. However, the daycares is only a small portion of the fraud taking place in Minnesota. In this video, I will take you into what has continued to allow this fraud to happen and connect all of the dots for you, exposing all of the fraud from strange connections of the business owners and the politicians who have openly admitted to the fraud on live TV. And to dive deep into the fraud, I met back up with the local David, who has been investigating this widespread fraud scandal for years. So here in Minnesota, you have daycare fraud, you have adult daycare fraud, you have healthcare fraud, and you even have more fraud. What's some of the fraud that's also taking place here inside of Minnesota?
Well, what I think might be sort of the heart of the beast here is this.
Guys, welcome back for another video. Appreciate you guys tuning in. So we're going to go ahead and go back to that video here in a second, but I just want to let you guys know, man, it's crazy. It's crazy out there. Yeah, this fraud that's continuing to happen and is just out there. It's insane. I wanted to go ahead and shed a light on another fact that we came across, which was part of what we spoke about in our previous videos, right? Where we realized, you know what? These folks are actually getting away with it. They don't care if they are trying to be investigated, because more than half of that money, if not all of it, it's already in Somalia, right? We knew that was going to happen, right? So, okay, so what happened? They are getting caught trying to take the money out of the country. If you're not aware, let's check this out. Watch this.
Back, everybody, as we continue to keep an eye on developments in Minnesota, we're going to turn our attention back to the Somali fraud investigation. As we've discussed before, authorities have discovered suitcases containing hundreds of millions of dollars in a Minnesota airport. Now, in the meantime, Republicans are working to cut funding for Somali-led organizations with alleged ties to the massive fraud scandal. Now, as the FBI pushes forward with its own investigation, one key question arises: what does accountability even look like in this case moving forward? So joining us now to talk about all of this and more is New York Congresswoman Claudia Tenney. Congresswoman, thanks so much for being with us tonight.
Great to be on with you, too. What a crazy time we're seeing here, aren't we?
Absolutely insanity. And I know oversight in the House is looking into these fraud allegations, but I wonder if it's even bigger than we have uncovered thus far, the $700 million in cash.
Literally, aren't we glad that this is being uncovered? Like, this is not only Minnesota's money, it's the federal government's money, because most of these programs are funded by the federal government. So that's your money, that's my money. Yeah, I'm glad that this is being exposed. We actually got some video that we're going to be putting out as well. It's happening in a lot of states. It's happening in a lot of states. It's crazy. The fraud it's just running rampant. And then honest people like you and me, you know, we try to pay our taxes, and we are late paying our taxes. We almost get put in jail, which is crazy. Not really, but you know what I mean. Let's go back to the video.
Going out of the airports there. I have a feeling we are still just scratching the surface.
Yeah, it looks really bad, and obviously very alarming to see that this U.S. cash has been legally going through our airports. And of course, there is a requirement of reporting if you're going to carry more than $10,000. There's a reporting requirement, but I think a really interesting part about this is if, isn't it going to be a little suspicious when you start seeing 10,000, 100,000, millions, and now, more, as John reported earlier, more money that goes through JFK, goes through the Minneapolis airport. Something's wrong there. And I think something that's very
More money goes through Minnesota than goes through JFK. Like, JFK is literally one of the most busiest airports. And you telling me that Minnesota, wow, I'm just speechless. And again, if you've been with me for a while, you know that's strange being speechless, but wow.
very interesting that we impose on banks is that banks are required under banking law to require and file and keep track of what they call suspicious activity reports. This is something I think we need to do now when we see the large amounts of U.S. cash, and it's always U.S. cash. I mean, you're not going to see, Chinese yen or anything else going through there. And U.S. cash is king, and we need to certainly have this type of cash exchange reported. It's interesting because you see all this illegal immigration we've had over this time. And by the way, most of those Somalis that are in Minnesota probably came through a refugee program, and probably many of them are already legal American citizens. So,
real quick. You guys know I'm an independent. I'm neither a Republican or a Democrat. But why is it always the Republicans that are shedding light on these type of issues? Like there's something there, bro. Like you really need to think about that. I don't see no Democrat. The Democrats are defending it. If anything, the Democrats are defending it. Like, how could you defend what's happening? Like, I don't understand that. It's so weird.
Suspicious activity reports, some kind of accounting for cash, I think would really be helpful. I'm looking at ways that we might be able to do this so that we could actually look at what's going on. Banks are required to do that. Individuals are not. But I'll tell you, if I'm a TSA agent or anyone else and I see this kind of cash going through, and that you're able to report the amount of cash going through, that it's happening in plain sight. We're seeing corruption in plain sight. Most of the remittances that go back often go to these foreign countries, and there's substantial portions of their economy, whether it's Guatemala and Mexico and other countries. Their own workers are sending that money back. But this is at a level that is just unprecedented, and
that's insane. Like, literally, that's insane. So that's the tip of the iceberg. They tried to go ahead and take out $700 million through the airport. Folks, that's a lot of money. All right, so Nick, who shined a light on this whole fraud, went back to Minnesota. He said that the next video, which is the one we're about to review right now or react to, is worse than the child cares or the daycares or whatever you want to call them. The learning center. I can't even pronounce that right. But this is interesting. So I've only watched about a couple of minutes of this video. We're going to go ahead and react to it together. And then may not show the whole video because the whole video is like 50 minutes. But let's go ahead and watch it together. Go ahead and finish it over there at Nick's channel so he can get the views as well. And guys, if you're liking this content and you appreciate what I'm doing here, please subscribe. I will definitely appreciate it. It's going to get the word out to most people out there that are like you, that want to hear about this as well. So let's check out Nick here. And sorry, I keep looking back and forth. I'm the editor as well. I don't know if you guys noticed. Let's go ahead and finish watching his video and see what happens here.
Transportation fraud. And what I mean by that is in Minnesota, we have something called non-emergency medical transportation, NEMT. My research has shown that there are about 1,020 such companies in Minnesota, and more than 90% of them are Somali owned.
And so right here on the table, what do we have? All this information right here.
Wow.
So I have a number of companies that are local here in the Twin Cities, and this is just a fraction of the companies that are out there. What I found was that the national average for a non-emergency medical transportation company is 20 vehicles per company. A lot of these companies, their address is an apartment, some are in a house, some are in a convenience store, some of them in a vacant building. There's no signage, there's nobody there.
And so why would there be such a
That's called fraud. I'm pretty sure they're going to go down the rabbit hole and find out that none of these businesses even exist. Watch. I could see it coming. Now, there was a little clip, obviously, in the intro that kind of showed that. But at the end of the day, you'll see that's how they're making their money. That's how they're living off of us.
need for all these transportation companies here inside of Minnesota?
So if you think of this transportation as the hub of the wheel, so childcare is a spoke, adult daycare is a spoke, autism is a spoke, the interpreter services, which we can get into, that's another spoke. It all ties back to transportation. Why? Because those meals someone had to deliver those meals. Someone has to deliver the kid to autism, or say they did. So it all revolves around the transportation. And so when you're looking at this, you say, okay, well, let's just be conservative. Let's go on the low side. Let's say there are only 800 Somali-owned non-emergency medical transportation companies in Minnesota. Well, again, the average is 20 vehicles per company. So that's 800 times 20. And the way these NEMT companies are paid is if they bring someone to a doctor's appointment, whatever the case might be, or Costco or wherever they're going, because remember, it's non-emergency medical transportation. Well, we went to Costco because they have to eat or they'll die.
So basically an Uber. Basically. We're paying for Uber services as well. Okay. Cool. Love it.
That's considered, right? So it's almost impossible to figure out from the outside what exactly the payments are for each of these trips, but I have a pretty good idea. So when someone provides a transportation to a facility or a location, they're also paid for the time to sit there and wait for the appointment to end and then drive the person back. So they're paid 3 different ways. And the average is going to be $50 per trip. So it's going to the appointment as a trip, coming back trip. So that's $100 per round trip. So if you have 800 companies in Minnesota that are NEMT companies, they all own 20 vehicles, and they're all making 10 trips a day, and it's $50 per trip. So it's 800 times 20 times 10 trips times $50 a trip. Do the math. And the reality.
Oh my goodness. Let's put that number back up. Oh my goodness. Is that correct? $8 million per day? $8 million per day on transportation. I tell you what, I used to be in the logistics field once upon a time, and we loved waiting for people. We loved waiting for people. You know why we loved waiting for people? Because we was making money just sitting there doing nothing. I don't even know how to speak. We didn't even need to drive. We were just waiting, getting paid, no problem. These people are making $8 million a day divided by 800 companies. That's mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. Half of us don't even make $100,000 per year. Per year. The average salary here in the United States is what, $60,000? And these people, fraudsters coming from other countries, are making close to $1 billion a day. That's mind blowing. Guys, if you guys are liking this content, please subscribe. We would definitely appreciate it here. Also, if you have any video that you want me to react to, it's the Axe Adriel channel, right? Send me that. Put in the link below in the comments below, and I'll be more than happy to go ahead and react to it. Let's watch a little bit more.
Reality is, how many of these trips are being provided? Zero. They don't have to provide any. Why? Because when they are paid by the state of Minnesota, these companies go online and they fill out a form, and it just says, okay, how many trips, how many miles. They submit that electronically to the state, and boom, they get paid. Nobody bothers to check. They don't call the dentist. Did this kid show up? They don't do anything. As soon as that form is filed with the state of Minnesota, that payment goes out immediately.
And so essentially, these transportation companies are what hold all of the fraud together, because you have the daycare centers working with the transportation companies, the adult daycare centers working with the transportation companies, the healthcare companies working with the transportation companies. So it's just another way to bill and to also make it look like something's happening here inside of Minnesota.
This is the belly of the beast. All of this fraud revolves around these transportation companies. All of it. This touches every part of fraud here in Minnesota.
Guys, take a look at, excuse me, take a look at Nick's video. I'll put the link in the description below. Go ahead and comment. Give me your take on what's going on in Minnesota. I would like to hear from you. Also, again, if you're liking this content, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. We would definitely appreciate it. Let me look for the little automation there. Boom. Yeah, please subscribe, guys. I would definitely appreciate it. I'm trying to get to about 150 subscribers by the end of this month, and we got another 15 days, so I think you could do it. A lot of you guys that don't watch this channel are now subscribers, so just hit the like button. Go ahead and comment. Go ahead and subscribe. Would appreciate it. We'll go ahead and check you out on the next video, guys. Thank you so much, okay?